evening. It is December 29th, and welcome to Cape Media News, your source for hyperlocal news that matters. I'm Lauren Williamson. We've seen it all in 2023, hopeful highs, gloomy lows, and everything in between. In this special episode of Cape Media News, we'll be recapping the year to give you our top 10 stories that summarize 2023. First, a look back to where it all began. Last February, Cape Media News ran our debut episode featuring a story about Don Howell resigning from the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust. Take a look.
This is not about retaliation. This is not about bullying. This is about dysfunction. This is about 5 years of a trust and not moving the needle forward.
For several years, the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust has been facing a number of challenges, leading to frustration among its trustees. But during the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust meeting on January 17th, it seemed as though the trust had reached their boiling point.
You could have
Judith,
called.
You will yield. You will yield. You do not have the right.
At a subsequent Board of Selectmen meeting on January 23rd, Town Administrator Joe Powers apologized for how the meeting was conducted, acknowledging that it was not up to par.
I apologize to the members of the trust, to the participants that were present, to the board, and certainly to the residents and the citizens of our town. I regret the manner in which I comported myself and the manner in which the meeting was led.
However, the story does not end there. At the next Board of Selectmen meeting on January 30th, the motion was presented to remove some or all members of the Affordable Housing Trust in order to rectify its dysfunctionality.
Housing is one of the topics that has been talked about since I started 8 years ago, and that's all we've talked about. It's an emergency, but we're not moving that needle forward. And there is absolutely no symmetry on that committee.
Richard Waystack, a prominent member of the community, urged the board not to go through with this action.
I think it's a bad precedent to remove people because we don't agree with what they're doing. Harwich, we are better than this. I ask you not to move forward with this tonight.
But the pressure was just too high. After some finger-pointing between members, Chairman Michael McCaskill asked Don Howell if he would be willing to step down from the Affordable Housing Trust.
Don, are you willing to step down as the selectman appointee to allow another selectman to get on there?
No. You can remove me because that's really what you want to do, and you've been wanting to do that since April of 2021.
In response, McCaskill motioned for Howell's removal, which was then seconded by Mary Anderson.
That's what grown-ups do. They sit down and they talk things out. And you're behind the scenes, not talking to people, stirring things up. And I just think this needs to change.
Facing the possibility of a vote, Don Howell decided to resign from the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust, avoiding further conflict. The rest of the board agreed that no further action was required at the time, bringing the matter to a close.
I appreciate you taking that step, Don. I know that isn't your desire, and it takes a big person to do that, so I appreciate that. I suggest we let this ride and see if we can make things work.
This latest development highlights the ongoing challenges faced by the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust and the need for a functional solution to address the housing crisis in the community. For Cape Media News, I'm Ryan Thompson.
This year, we met with the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy on several occasions to talk about the Cape's favorite fearsome aquatic residents, white sharks. Here's one of our favorite interviews with them.
On Wednesday, March 22nd, the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy hosted their second event in their monthly lecture series, Shark Tales. The AWSC invited Jada Elcock, a researcher from the MIT Hui Joint Program, to share some insights into her ongoing research on sharks.
I am currently working on a project to learn more about basking shark migration. So we realize that they're migrating really far, over 17,000 kilometers in some cases, when we used to think that they didn't migrate too much and they stayed in colder water. But it turns out they're going into the tropics, which is really weird. And they're spending a lot of time in the deep ocean, like 1,000 meters, potentially more than that. And there's just a lot of questions as to why are they migrating? How are they fueling their migration? What are they doing in the deep ocean? So my project is basically just based around trying to figure out more about this, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together so we can better understand basking shark migration, the habitats that they use while they're migrating, and hopefully that can help us with conservation efforts in the future.
Jada also discussed her involvement with the Minorities in Shark Sciences, or MISS.
Minorities in Shark Sciences, aka MISS, is an organization dedicated to supporting women and gender minorities of color in the field of shark science. We hold the opinion that diversity in people and in scientists creates diversity in thought, which creates innovation, and everybody is needed in order for science to be successful. So we are out here trying to support and provide opportunities for women and gender minorities of color to become the scientists that they want to be and to get the hands-on experience they need to continue in the field and further their career. If you want to learn more about MISS, you can go to our website, which is just misselasmo.org, MISSELASMO.org. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at miss_Elasmo.
In addition to her research and outreach work, Jada has gained a large following on social media for sharing her shark knowledge in a very unique and engaging way. She has amassed over 46,000 followers and over 1.3 million likes on TikTok by presenting fun and relatable content about sharks.
I do a lot of science communication. I think that communicating science is very important. We want to have a well-informed public, and in order to make good policy decisions, we have to make sure that people know and care about the science. And also, I just think that science is really fun, and I'm very passionate about it, and I like to share that passion with other people. So letting people know about certain animals in a fun and engaging way, getting the information out there. I like to just share my science and the science that I care about in probably the most chaotic way that I possibly can.
Why do they look like this, you may ask? Because they're friend-shaped. But much like other wildlife, I get the feeling that they're the type of friend that values their personal space, so please don't hug them. But seriously, their dorsal fins are so specifically shaped, and their second dorsal fin is pretty darn big.
If you'd like to see some of my videos and my chaotic science energy, you can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Sophistication, and on Instagram at Sophistication_.
The AWSC's Shark Tales lecture series aims to educate the public about the important role sharks play in our oceans and to dispel myths and misconceptions about these incredible creatures. By inviting researchers like Jada to share their work, the AWSC hopes to foster a greater appreciation for sharks and inspire more people to get involved with shark conservation efforts. For Cape Media News, I'm Ryan Thompson.
We covered many hot-button topics this year that got folks online clicking that share button. While many divisive topics gained traction online, our most popular YouTube video involves the protest in Yarmouth after the initial migrant housing proposal in September.
We're here today in front of this hotel because there were American citizen people living here paying $300 a week. And Maura Healey's office called and asked if the illegals, over 100 illegal families, could stay here. He said yes, but only if he could get $700 a week. Therefore, he put a note under all of the American citizens' room, their door in their room, a note, and told them they all had to get out. They were forced out, illegals were let in. This is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is a human rights issue. It's being violated here. This establishment here has many, many housing violations, which are now being addressed. Maura Healey has put supposedly everything on hold, but we are being told that there's still the illegals that are in here. I will never call them migrants. They are illegal. They broke the laws of our country.
So that's why I'm kind of back at the base.
It doesn't matter how wealthy we are. China's wealthy. Why aren't we protesting against China? Russia's wealthy. Why aren't we protesting against them? Why aren't Haitians going to China? Why aren't Haitians going to Russia? Going to Cuba? Why? Because they won't let you in.
This isn't just a right issue. This isn't a left issue. This is an issue for all of us. We are all members of this community, and we can't afford this burden. This is ridiculous. We have homeless people here. We have an opioid crisis. The location that they want to put this in is right 2 doors down from a daycare. It's right next to the Yarmouth House. It's one of the flagship restaurants here in Yarmouth. It's across the street from residential neighborhoods. We don't know who these people are. We don't know where they came from. They haven't been vetted. We don't know if they have criminal backgrounds. We don't know if they have medical issues. I just can't believe that we have to bear the tax burden of this. So.
Shelter everyone! Shelter everyone! The unhoused deserve help!
Humanitarian crisis from the day these people leave their houses. This is the end of the line for a long, terrible journey for these poor people. This is not going to help them. This is not going to increase their life. This is not any life that anybody wants to live by being in this resort in a hotel room when you can't work. It's absolutely an issue for these people here today, for the locals. But what happened with Kamala Harris going and getting to the root causes of this problem? And now it's here on our doorstep. That's why we're upset.
There are over 33% of vacant housing on Cape right now. Over 33%. That is more than the number of renters on Cape right now. Please actually show compassion to the unhoused.
The people on the other side of the street are actively supporting policies and politicians that don't help locals or veterans or migrants. They don't help anybody. We are not here to say we don't care about our locals. We care about our locals just as much as we care about migrants that need help now. These things are not mutually exclusive. Everyone deserves housing.
Are you getting paid today since you work at the house Stop hiding behind your mask. We can't hear you. Our veterans and elderly need us.
With housing prices and so forth as high as they are, the last thing we need right now is to be giving our money and our housing situation to people who came here illegally, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to protest that.
Our son-in-law came from India, and he did it legally, and we're really, really proud of him. So we believe in legal immigration, not illegal. And the Cape now becoming a dumping ground, and we just don't have the resources to support it. But allow them in when they're legal.
Americans first. We need senior housing. Housing for children that were born here and grew up here. They can't afford it. They're getting forced out of the low-income housing so illegals can come here. Our children have the right to live where they were born.
Veterans come first. Don't throw them on the street.
What about all of our veterans and local homeless people that were tossed out of this place so that the town could do this and put all these immigrants in here? Why should we pay for their way? No one's paying my way. And then you get people that think that we're the bad guy for wanting to protect our country. A country without borders isn't a country at all, and that's where we're heading.
You do what's right. And, sometimes what's right is going to put you in the minority. And in this case, obviously, these people came because, they say they care about veterans, but where were they with Liberty Lodge? They weren't there. I wish they had the courage of their convictions to show up and protest the rich who are driving up property values. I wish they had the conviction to show up when they try to kick out veterans. But it's only when it's immigrants that they decide to show up.
Housing for all, regardless of immigration status. Compassion over hate. Compassion over hate.
We the people are fed up. It's time to go to Ellis Island like our ancestors did, come in the country legally, then we'll be happy to invite you in. But get a job, support yourself. We are not here to do that. We worked hard our whole lives for this. Cape Cod is not full of rich people. Citizens, veterans, elderly, the young children that are growing up here that have to move off Cape because they can't afford housing. Come on, this is our country. We the people are fed up.
Just finish up real quick. Every Saturday, 10 o'clock, in front of this building.
Every Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, until I drop dead.
Okay.
Until we're all gone.
Okay.
And maybe with my big mouth, I might be gone soon enough because I don't have all friends, and there's enemies out there.
And check out our most popular TikTok at around 10 million views, featuring local activist Asia Graves speaking up at a Barnstable Town Council meeting about the urgent need for affordable housing on Cape.
I'm sick of hearing people who have second and third and fourth homes over here complaining that we don't need the housing, that we're going to mess with the traffic. Guess what? I'm on the verge of being homeless in a couple of months because I can't afford to pay $1,500, $1,700, $1,800 working for a nonprofit. So please, can we do something for the actual low-income people that live in this community? I'm sick of hearing the wealthy come in here and say all of these things when you're not going to Village Green. Half the kids in Village Green right now are knocking on the other complexes' doors because they don't have food in the summertime. So what is the Hyannis Town Council going to do for those people? By the way, that proposal about cameras all over the place, you all have a very small community of color. Placing cameras everywhere, that scares your community of color. Guess what? You already have had the Trader Reds guy say the N-word all over the place and say that the cops were on his side. How do the people of color in this community feel safe?
In lighter news, this year for the very first time, the Flip Circus came to Hyannis in May. Setting up shop in the parking lot between the Cape Cod Mall and the Christmas Tree Shop Plaza, this special show gathered large crowds under their small tent.
This month, the Flip Circus arrived in Hyannis, Cape Cod, bringing with it a magical experience for audiences of all ages.
Flip Circus came from the imagination of the Vasquez family, which is a circus. It's very traditional and it's mostly for the entire audience. A lot of family are going to enjoy the show. You have artists from different parts of the world. So Flip is super small but big on the inside.
Flip Circus offers a unique and intimate setting, allowing spectators to witness extraordinary acts up close.
One unique thing about Flip is that you're so close to the stage, so you feel something very magical as you see the artist right up close.
Flip Circus aims to provide entertainment for everyone, regardless of language or cultural background, creating a universal experience that captivates audiences from all walks of life.
Flip is targeted to everybody, so everybody is going to enjoy it. It's a show that you don't need to understand, particularly English, to understand the show. So it's something that's very unique and very traditional.
While the specifics of the acts are kept under wraps to preserve the element of surprise, Flip Circus promises unforgettable and mesmerizing performances that will leave spectators in awe.
We are training every day to keep us in shape because we have to go on trapeze. But on top of that, we are every day we try to evolve our comedy. Every day is a different audience, so we need to adapt our comedy to the audience because every day is different.
The Flip Circus is not just a job for these performers. It's a passion. Their ultimate reward comes from seeing the smiles on the faces of the audience, knowing they've created a moment of happiness.
It's our job, what we're doing, but when we're on stage, we don't we don't feel like a job. You know, we are there to try to make people happy, and that's what brings us joy also to us.
As the Flip Circus graced Cape Cod, residents and visitors were treated to an enchanting and unforgettable experience. With its magical acts, inclusive atmosphere, and dedication to spreading joy, the Flip Circus quickly became a beloved attraction in the local community.
What you're going to expect about Flip is super magical moments inside the tent. We have shows every day, Monday to Friday, 7:30. Saturday and Sunday, we have 3 shows. You can go to our website at flipcircus.com to get more information.
For Cape Media News, I'm Ryan Thompson.
During the sunny summer months, the annual Dennis Lifeguard Competition took place at West Dennis Beach. Seeing about 55 lifeguards compete to determine which group is better at saving lives, the North Side Guards or the South Side Guards.
The scenic shores of West Dennis Beach became the battleground for an exhilarating showdown as the North Side and South Side lifeguards of the town of Dennis went head-to-head in a spirited competition. A day filled with athleticism, camaraderie, and a touch of friendly rivalry.
So this is a competition we do annually, mostly for fun, but we get into it as it gets closer. It's real competitive. So the North Side and the South Side kind of operate separately in terms of day-to-day work. So this is a fun event we have where we can kind of come together, compete, and show off our individual lifeguard skills.
Basically, our main focus is obviously to ensure the safety of beach patrons on a day-to-day basis. So we have daily or weekly workouts where we go over a lot of these events and do training and work on our skills. So it's kind of nice to come together as a whole staff at the end at an event like this and have a little friendly competition.
The Northside team comprised of 4 main beaches: Mayflower, Chapin, Corporation, and Cold Storage, boasts a strong contingent of about 35 lifeguards. And on the other end, the Southside lifeguards stand guard over 6 main beaches: West Dennis, South Village, Haggis, Glendon, C Street, and Inman, with a dedicated team of around 20 to 25 lifeguards.
What event for the North Side is going to be a blowout for you, and what's going to be close?
Easily the mile run. We have 2 siblings, Natalie, Dylan Zaturka. Shout out to them. They're both phenomenal runners, so easily taking a kick on those 2.
Probably our swim is going to be the best event for us today. We have 2 lifeguards, William Traub and Julia Wiener, and we're hoping they come in first for both of the men's and women's swim today.
So the Northside's 3-time repeating champs, hopefully for this year. But we have fun every year. It's fun to come and watch. Each year's very close.
The competition kicked off with the beach sprint, testing the lifeguards' agility, speed, and endurance. With their eyes on the prize, the Northside and Southside teams surged ahead, leaving nothing but determination in their wake. Next, the competition shifted to the water, where the lifeguards proved their aquatic prowess in a series of gripping swimming events. With adrenaline pumping through their veins, they fearlessly dived into the ocean, skillfully navigating the rolling waves. In a narrow and hard-fought competition, Southside emerged victorious, ending the Northside's 3-year winning streak. The margin was tight, showcasing the incredible talent and commitment of both teams. In an inspiring show of unity, the lifeguards of both Northside and Southside proved that this competition was not about division, but rather a shared passion for their vital duty.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun thing for families and beach patrons to come watch. It also inspires younger kids to look at the lifeguards and, hopefully want to do something like that again in their lives. So, overall, it's just a fun thing, and we're going to have a great time doing it.
For Cape Media News, I'm Ryan Thompson.
More recently, our youngest news correspondent covered the Christmas events at Patriot Square in Dennis just a few weeks ago. Fiona Caswell got the scoop on Santa's arrival via fire truck.
Right here, behind me, Santa was supposed to land, but he will not be landing. He will be coming by wee-woos. Fire truck. Today, on Saturday, December 2nd, Cape Media News has visited Patriot Square in Dennis. We're right outside the Stop and Shop. Santa is not coming by helicopter in this weather. And now, we have to wait a half an hour. Fiona Caswell signing off. Back to you, Warren.
As well as serving our 5 local towns, we also tackled a few stories that concerned national matters. The Writers Guild strike this summer halted the production of the series The Perfect Couple, which was primarily shot in Chatham. News director Mitch Sock tells us more on the matter.
On May 2nd, the Writers Guild of America officially went on strike against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, and now picketers have made their way to the Cape. The Perfect Couple, a Netflix show being filmed in various locations on Cape Cod this summer, found picketers from the WGA outside their base camp in Harwich on Tuesday morning, as well as picket lines on location.
We are striking against the studios and the AMPTP that represents a lot of the major players in Hollywood, from Universal to Sony to Netflix, all these major studios, because the working conditions have become impossibly difficult, whether it's through the lack of promise we've received from them that they won't use AI to write scripts, to the erosion of the stability of making a middle-class income at these otherwise jobs that used to be perfectly stable.
The primary issues in the labor dispute revolve around streaming media residuals, artificial intelligence, minimum basic agreements, mandatory staffing, and individual benefits for writing teams.
They've now created something called the mini room, and the mini room essentially wants you to do the exact same job with half the amount of time, half the amount of writers, and for scale. So rather than having 20 weeks to develop 8 episodes, they want to create the mini room where you only have 4 writers instead of 8. You have maybe 10 weeks instead of 20, but you're doing the same job. IATSE and the Teamsters have not been crossing our picket lines. They're respecting our picket lines, and we found that that was true in LA. It's true in New York, but when we go outside of these major film and television making hubs, we're finding that the union solidarity is everywhere. It's an incredible message to send to people like David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Discovery, who in the last 2 years has cut himself a check for $250 million. But they tell me they can't pay the writers. All we want to do is get a call from the AMPTP to get us back to the table. They haven't even counter-offered anything. We're just waiting for them to call. So, you know, my life isn't being a picketer. My life is being a writer. So our lives have revolved around trying to bring audiences content that makes them happy, that makes them laugh, that puts them on the edge of their seat. All we care about is bringing good content to our audiences. So it's been brutal knowing that the studios won't so much as give us a counter, so we can't go back to work to do the thing we love, to bring people the shows they love. That's all we want to do at this point. That's why we're here.
The WGA estimates its proposals would yield writers about $429 million a year, while the AMPTP's offer would yield just $86 million.
It's not about ethics anymore, it's about their bottom line. So the more we hurt their bottom line, the closer we'll be to hopefully getting a phone call back from them and getting back to the table.
For Cape Media News, I'm Mitch Sock.
In more national news, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis visited Cotuit in July, much to the chagrin of residents of the small village. Local activist Jade Kelly made a TikTok informing Cape residents of DeSantis' presence, and many showed up to protest outside.
This fascist scumbag is coming to Cape Cod. Not only is he coming to Cape Cod, but he's coming to the village where I live, which is Cotuit, Massachusetts. And, you know, Cape Cod's got like 250,000 people who live here year-round, but Cotuit specifically, we only have 3,500 people who live here. And on top of that, it's not a pass-through town. There is no through way, so the only people who are here are people who live here or people who are visiting somebody. And it's small, and we know everybody. And you can bet your ass that I'm gonna find out what house this is happening at, and I'm gonna be there to greet this fascist scum.
It's the kind people, I can tell. Let's circle back in the fall.
Good job, guys. Good job.
I can tell you that people like DeSantis are not welcome here. We are people who care about other people. We don't want to know or have someone on the Cape who's a known racist, and it's insane that he's being here in our community, and I'm so glad that so many people showed up. I love it, and that's really it's really about love, and we don't want haters here.
I'm Mr. Fashion.
I taught there for 1 year.
What are your skills?
What are my skills?
Is your feeling hurt? I hurt your feelings?
Oh my gosh. How are you? How you doing, sir? Hey, are you with this crowd? I'm here. I just have to ask you off the driveway. Just get access back and forth. I certainly appreciate that. So this looks like an easement? What's that? Driving. Sure, exactly. Private easement, but everybody has access to it. Probably a private easement. Okay. I mean, so it's like a sidewalk, right? Well, this is the driveway. So we're going to have to ask you to just repeat any traffic. The World Bank.
So I'm a trans person, and currently what Ron DeSantis is doing to just trans people, more specifically just like trans kids in Florida, is extremely disheartening and borderline genocide, honestly, with the policies that he's trying to enact. And I'm just trying to stop him from making Massachusetts Florida, which is his campaign slogan.
Fascists are not welcome on Cape Cod.
Heard that Ron DeSantis was coming here to Cotuit. It's a small town. By and large, this town, this county, this state rejects any intolerant, hateful ideology. And he's not welcome here. It started with a video of me just going on a rant, hearing that he was going to be here and that I'd do my best to find it. And I thought I'd be kind of the lone wolf, and it went viral and it's taken off. The attention, the people who've shown up, the support, either in person or online, it's just been absolutely incredible, and it is it's really heartening. For those that couldn't come here, you know, we're here for you. Your voices are being heard, the support. You know, if you're not here in person, but you're here in spirit. And you know, that's just incredible. It's amazing.
people on the deck, and it seems like they're waiting for him to arrive. Can't tell. No way to know. My guess is they've split it up to divide the crowd. I don't see any votes.
Go home fascist! Go home fascist! Shame! 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 Woo! Welcome to Katuitt!
If there's a fascist in the house, drag him out. If there's a fascist in the house, drag him out.
Drag him out.
If there's a fascist in your streets, make that fascist scared to sleep. If there's a fascist in the house, drag him out.
Drag him out.
If there's a fascist in the house, drag him out.
Finally, let's take a look back at Dennis's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting from May, where they received feedback from the community on how to better serve.
Don't be shy. I mean, this is an opportunity for us to hear what you have to say. We're going to be the eyes and ears of the community. We need to know what the community wants. It's your town, it's our town. And it's time that we start looking at what we can do for each other. And by doing that, we want to include your thoughts. Okay, we're looking for people to join the organization, to join us, to be the eyes and the ears and the minds of other folk. You talk to people every day. Do they have concern?
We have not had a person of color as a prosecutor since 1994, so it's been a bit. One of the goals of the committee will certainly be recruitment. We have extended certain efforts already to try to engage in recruiting. We've met some frustrations with a few different law schools and a college, so we are looking for all the help that we can possibly get.
I feel welcome as a gay person, but I'm also a white person, so I don't feel that pressure all the time, and I wonder if in our town we feel like we have enough police officers, firefighters, other people in positions of municipal positions like that. And so that's something that makes me a little uncomfortable being in Dennis. I lived in Greater Boston, I lived in Watertown, and we had much more diversity, and that's something that I miss down here in Dennis.
I think to some degree this whole conversation starts with education. We all need to learn more about what our community really is about. And to be honest with you, as a old white guy, it just seems like there's an awful lot of old white guys in the community, or old white couples. But the truth is, the more I look and the more I search, that's not really totally true. Our community is much more diverse than many of us, including me, realize. And we need to expose that to people like myself and everybody else in the community. And I think to some degree, this whole thing starts with, how do we expose that? How do we bring out this diverse population, which really does exist here in the town of Dennis?
Yeah.
Caucasians, I think, find it very difficult to talk about race. And I think that's a phobia that they're going to have to overcome.
Yeah.
And we as black folk don't have a problem with that. I mean, we're working 24/7. Okay, I can walk into the room and they automatically know or identify or pigeonhole me as a person of color.
Yeah.
So we have to learn about each other. All right, and I would agree with Brad that it starts with education.
Right.
I think we have to kind of take a stand,
Yeah.
because there are a whole bunch of people out there that want to tear everything down. And if they weren't there, this committee might not be as needed as it is.
Just even something at town hall, Dennis believes in diversity. Dennis, something more anodyne than, specific things about specific flags like Juneteenth, which is very important. Maybe we can kind of get that movement going. And so, to your point, it becomes natural to be open to others.
I have to say, from a personal point of view, because I'm transgender, when I go driving down the road and I see something out in front of a church, I say, everyone welcome.
Yeah, that's sort of.
I know I'm not welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
For the town to say just some bland saying doesn't mean a heck of a lot to someone who's in an oppressed minority already.
Yeah. Right.
But it just brings in, or it has a chance of bringing in a bigger part of the community than what we see at town meeting.
Yeah.
In fact, a different part of the community totally. And then once they're there, there's a chance to educate and go, hey, by the way, if this is important to you, you could join this committee. You could be in this room tonight and get some of that community to participate and become active in the town, which is where we need them to be.
And I think even inviting them to one meeting, just a listening session like this, a lot of people, a committee? What, you mean, wait a minute, I don't want to commit to that. But they might come out and, if you're touching on a particular topic at a meeting, to have people come out and sit in on that meeting for that purpose. That's a start.
I totally understand the feeling of just not fitting in, because I moved here in 2006, and I have taught myself that I belong in any room I walk in. But I had to teach myself that. I had to make that how I walk into a room, because I just didn't feel comfortable. I had to force myself to feel comfortable to live here, because I want to live here. I like living here. It's gorgeous. I really like the community. I just wish it were more open. And when I say more open, I just wish we could have like open conversations about race, because Black people in my family, we talk about race all the time, like it's Tuesday, like it's mayonnaise, like it's ketchup, like it's nothing to us, because we live it. So if we can have these open conversations more, I think it'd be easier for people of color to feel more, included, and if we could have people be willing to talk about race honestly, tell us what you think. And will it change? Hopefully, yes. But the only way it will is if we have these open conversations.
Our church here has had an ongoing conversation about racism and, and the problem with that is
it's all white people talking.
It's all white people.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing for a bunch of white people to sit down and have uncomfortable conversations.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's fine to be uncomfortable. You learn something from it. Hopefully you teach somebody else something. And then you move on. And you change and you make things better for the people who live here.
For everybody, to be more comfortable talking about race. I think this is really a part of it, because how do people talk about race, and why is it such a big problem? Like, what is in the very soul of it? What is the real reason? Is it just because we don't understand it? Is it because what is that makes us uncomfortable? What is it? Because it shouldn't be.
We were talking about education before in terms of all of this. We don't have a problem so much here. I still call this kind of my Cape Cod bubble, where I'm safe. But in the rest of the country, things are terrible. And I think there's always a need for education in terms of what's real and what's not. And to hear different people's stories, to know what they've gone through so that you can appreciate this. For instance, one huge thing is trans girls in sports. And it's a front for trying to get rid of us. It just is. The whole thing, it's to start off, is totally wrong. But then they'll build on that, and gosh, it makes sense. And we shouldn't have those trans girls in sports. There's a lot of different levels of that need to be talked about, but just I want to put that out there, and
Well, it's part of
we'd be.
Inclusion.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're very, very fortunate, but that bubble is getting thinner and thinner.
2023 brought many new developments to the unique challenges of our community faces, ultimately highlighting the charm and resilience of locals dedicated to cultivating a community worth living in. As we look back on the news of the past year, it's a reminder of the importance of staying informed, getting involved, and showing up for your community. Thank you so much for joining us this year. From all of us at Cape Media News, happy 2024. As always, if you have a story that you'd like to see covered, send us an email at newstip@capemedia.org. We'd really like to hear from you. Tune in every week for more hyperlocal news that matters on Channel 26, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media, including Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, to stay up to date. For Cape Media News, I'm Lauren Williamson. We'll see you next year.